What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. Welcome to Week 11 Fantasy Football. In this episode, talking about our quick and dirty top 30 for the wide receiver position here this week. Now, just a reminder, there's not a whole lot of detail in this video. If you're looking for more detailed breakdowns of these players, head over to the Start Sit videos. This is just a quick rundown of my top 30 wide receivers here. And the Thursday Night Football game is over, right? So we're not going to be finding anybody from the Browns or the Steelers in these rankings. We're trying to make these decisions for the weekend game. So that's what we're going to be looking at in this episode. So now, without taking any more time, let's go take a look at the top 30 wide receivers for Week 11. Number one may not be a surprise to many this week. It's Michael Thomas, New Orleans Saints, with a great matchup going up against one of the worst secondaries in football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm expecting a big week this week from Michael Thomas. Number two, Julio Jones, Atlanta Falcons, has a matchup against the Carolina Panthers, who can't seem to stop much of anything on the defensive side of the football this year. Right now, Julio Jones is somebody who could have himself one of those Julio-esque type of days. Have him right now at wide receiver 2. Number 3, Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, they're going to be going head-to-head there with the New Orleans Saints. Another one of these teams that can be had through the air, and now there's no Marshawn Lattimore for Mike Evans to worry about. Got him all the way up at wide receiver 3. Number 4, Tyreek Hill, Kansas City Chiefs, Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Chargers. And as long as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill is a top 5 option at least. Have him right now at wide receiver 4. Number 5, DeAndre Hopkins, Houston Texans, with a matchup going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Right now, the Ravens look like one of the best teams in football. They control time of possession. They control the ground game. If they get out to an early lead, they're going to have to rely on the passing game in Houston. DeAndre Hopkins, obviously their best option. Have him right now at wide receiver 5. Number 6, Amari Cooper, Dallas Cowboys, going up against the Detroit Lions. And at this point, Amari Cooper is almost matchup proof. The guy has absolutely been killing it so far this season. Have him at wide receiver 6. Number 7, Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Already spoke about this matchup when we talked about Mike Evans. With no Marshawn Lattimore, both these guys, Evans and Godwin, should have free reign of the offense there in the passing game. Have him right now at number 7. Number 8, Julian Edelman, by far the safest option in New England. As long as Tom Brady's the quarterback there, we know he's going to be looking for Julian Edelman. Being that these are half-point PPR rankings, he deserves to be inside the top 10 this week, going up against a Philadelphia Eagles secondary, which can be had through the air. Edelman's going to be wide receiver 8. Number 9, Cooper Kupp. He's dropped a few spots, and he's definitely somebody who lost a lot of people's, fantasy weeks for them last week. Heck, maybe you won because he put up 0 points. Either way, one of those games you just don't come to expect from Cooper Kupp. It's somewhat of a difficult matchup this week going up against the Chicago Bears, who are tougher to throw against than run against. However, this guy is still one of the top options in fantasy football. Don't just forget about him after another poor game. Right now, got Cooper Kupp at number 9. Number 10, DJ Moore, which may be the highest I've had him all year. He's been somewhat consistent here over the past few weeks and has a great matchup going up against the Atlanta Falcons this week. If the Falcons can continue to score points, it's going to force Carolina and DJ Moore to be more active in the passing game. Right now, I have him all the way up at wide receiver 10. Number 11, Keenan Allen had himself somewhat of a solid day last week in Week 10. Expect him to try to build off that momentum here in Week 11 in a matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs, where the Chargers are going to have to keep their foot on the gas pedal to keep pace here. Have Keenan Allen number 11. Number 12, John Brown, Buffalo Bills. Great matchup going up against the Miami Dolphins without Xavier Howard in that secondary. Now, John Brown hasn't had that big play upside as of late, but he's been super solid, super consistent. Right now, have him at wide receiver 12. Number 13, Michael Gallup, Dallas Cowboys, with a matchup against the Detroit Lions. We spoke on this matchup earlier with Amari Cooper, but with Zeke in the backfield and Cooper getting the bulk of the defensive attention on the outside, that leaves Michael Gallup with one-on-one coverage consistently. Got him right now, wide receiver 13. Number 14, it's going to be Courtland Sutton of the Denver Broncos. Tougher matchup going up against the Minnesota Vikings, but Xavier Rhodes hasn't been a lockdown corner this year, and Courtland Sutton has been making some spectacular catches despite, changes at the quarterback position here. I still like Courtland Sutton a lot, and he's going to see a lot of volume. Right now, got him wide receiver 14. Number 15, DJ Chark, Jacksonville Jaguars. Difficult matchup going up against the Indianapolis Colts, but they're banged up in the secondary, and Chark has that big play ability. Hopefully him and Nick Foles can get on the same page quickly, and we can start seeing more solid production consistently from DJ Chark. Right now, got him at wide receiver 15. Number 16, Calvin Ridley. Spoke about this matchup with Julio Jones. Really like the opportunities for these guys. No Devontae Freeman, no Austin Hooper. More targets coming the way of Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. Got Ridley right now, wide receiver 16. Number 17, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Baltimore Ravens. I said last week that I could see the big plays starting to come back. The guy is getting back to full health. I can see something similar again this week. He may not see huge volume, a lot of targets, but he may not need that to give you a solid fantasy day. Going up against the Houston Texans, a great matchup for him. Got him right now, wide receiver 17. 18, Mohamed Sanu. Don't forget, just before the bye week, went out there and put up double-digit receptions and seems to be a big part of this game plan moving forward for the New England Patriots. Got him all the way up wide receiver 18. 19 is going to be Tyler Boyd, Cincinnati Bengals. He's been dropped down the rankings for a long time, but it's a great matchup going up against the Oakland Raiders. This could be the week that we see a little bit more production from Tyler Boyd. Still a low-end wide receiver 2. Got him down at 19. 20 is going to be Emmanuel Sanders, and this one's a big question mark. We really don't know what his availability is going to be this week against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, obviously, the last time these two teams met, he put up some pretty great numbers. Now, does he play this game? Is he limited in this game? Something we need to wait and see and find out. Right now, have him at wide receiver 20, but could move down if he continues to be limited. Number 21, Curtis Samuel. I talked about it with DJ Moore. Really like the opportunity for these Carolina wide receivers who are proving to be a little bit more consistent on a week-to-week basis. Curtis Samuel, not quite getting the volume that DJ Moore does, but he has the touchdown upside. Have him right now, wide receiver 21. 22 is Terry McLaurin. The reason he's even this high with Dwayne Haskins under center is just because the matchup is so great going up against the New York Jets. We already know what Terry McLaurin can do. We just need to see him more involved. Reports are coming out that they want to move him around the field, give him some time in the slot and outside. That would be great news to try to get him the ball more often. Right now, Terry McLaurin, wide receiver 22. 23, Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers, and he's kind of tied to the availability of Emmanuel Sanders. If Sanders sits, Deebo will move up this list. If Sanders plays, Deebo may slide down just a few spots, but we already know there's no George Kittle in this game, so the opportunity for an added target share is there for Deebo Samuel, but as of right now, have him at number 23. 24, Jamison Crowder of the Jets. He's turned into be kind of the most reliable weapon in this offense, at least the passing game for the New York Jets. Going up against the Washington Redskins, a great matchup. He should see the volume once again. I'm not going to count on the constant touchdown upside for Jamison Crowder, but the volume should be there as a low-end wide receiver 2. Got him at wide receiver 24. 25 is Robert Woods. A lot of people thought I was crazy for starting him last week, and he went out and had himself probably one of his best games of the season. Now I've dropped him down a few spots this week, down to number 25. Tougher matchup going up against the Chicago Bears, but he still has that, fringe wide receiver 2 upside on a weekly basis with no Brandon Cooks in the lineup. Right now, have him at 25. 26, Mike Williams, Los Angeles Chargers. And another one of these games we talked about here, Monday Night Football against the Chiefs, where they may be forced to throw all 4 quarters to keep pace. Mike Williams is not seeing the volume, but he's seeing big plays. He's had over 7 fantasy points almost every game this year, even though he's not out there, putting up great reception numbers, and he still hasn't found the end zone. It could be this week. Right now, I got Mike Williams at 26. 27, Christian Kirk, Arizona Cardinals. Now, no, this is not a great matchup for him going up against San Francisco, and he just struggled against this defense just a few short weeks ago. Am I overly excited to start Christian Kirk? No, but the volume should be there, and they're going to have to realize they need to try to find a way to get this guy the ball in space. Right now, I got him at 27. 28 is where a lot of people probably leave comments down below because they strongly disagree, but that's okay. I'm off the bandwagon this week of all 3 of these guys for the most part. Kenny Golladay of the Detroit Lions has a very difficult matchup going up against the secondary of the Dallas Cowboys, which is one of the best in the league, and he may be without Matthew Stafford once again. The volume may be there, the targets may be there, but are they catchable targets? That may be the problem. I have Kenny Golladay all the way down at 28. 29, Stephon Diggs. This is probably going to surprise a lot of people and maybe piss a lot of people off. But he's going to be matched up with Chris Harris of the Denver Broncos, who's been shutting down number 1 wide receivers all year long. Is it a risk to sit Stephon Diggs? Yes, it is, because he may go out there and only catch 3 balls, but he may turn it into 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a risk. Absolutely, I understand that. I'm just off the bandwagon this week for Stephon Diggs. Number 30, Tyrell Williams, and really the only reason he's this high is just due to the matchup going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are absolutely horrible on defense. But the problem is Tyrell Williams is very, very, very touchdown dependent at this point. If he doesn't score, he hurts your fantasy team. That's why I got him down at number 30. All right, there's my quick and dirty top 30 wide receivers here for Week 11 fantasy football. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Maybe you agree. Maybe I'm missing somebody. Let me know. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm not on here trying to act like I know more than everybody else. We're all just trying to win fantasy football matchups, and that's what this channel is all about. Scroll through the comments. Try to help out your fellow members of Headliner Nation. Let's get some extra W's here this week. Hopefully you all had a great week, a great weekend. We'll talk to you later.